Hello and welcome to the Ravioli show. Are we on episode 8? It's episode 8. Wow, that's okay. This has gone very quickly. 2 months in. If you're still watching, then what the fuck are you doing? Go find something else. Go find something better to watch. We are joined with our first, I'm going to say official guest, because everyone else we have on is either a friend that we rope in, unfairly so, or someone we kind of torture into coming on. Josh Coyne, everyone, from Handstamp Podcast. How are you, Josh?
I'm very well. Thanks very much for having me. And I'm a long-term proprietor of Instant Ravioli itself. So it's
fantastic, isn't it? Truly wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful having you here. So this week it's very simple. We're going to do actually, Josh, do you want to explain your podcast at first, and then we can go, and then we'll do a little bit about what we're going to do in the show. So
sure,
fire away, my friend.
Yeah, so Handstamp Podcast has been going for a couple of years, mainly just in audio form, but recently was moved to YouTube, which seems to be paying off. Basically, I speak to musicians, actors, comedians, writers, etc. about their formative live music experience. So the best way to put it is it's like Desert Island Discs, but for live concerts.
That is a very solid way of selling yourself. Sure. If anyone hasn't, I'm assuming Jimmy will definitely link it below. It's a really fun podcast. I really enjoy it. I think I got into it when you had Lawrence McKenna on, and that was the first one. I was like, okay, I like this. And then I've kind of, I think I've spoken to you before, I kind of ended up delving down a rabbit hole where I find myself watching more and more. But it's wonderful to have you here. I'm happy to have you on. Jimmy, before I give all the attention to Josh, how are you?
Am I?
All right, good. Moving on. Here we go. The news. Okay, so real quick, Italy. So we have some interesting news. Alfred Molina has returned for Spider-Man 3, as well as Jamie Foxx, Andrew Garfield, Kirsten Dunst, Tobey Maguire, and Charlie Cox is Daredevil is also reported to return. Josh, I don't suppose you're a big Marvel fan.
Sorry to disappoint, but no. But I do like a lot of the actors that you just
It's
said.
fine. Jimmy's not either. Jimmy just puts up with me because I am. So it's fine. It's fine.
I've seen a lot of them.
That's all you need to do then. You'll be all right. It's fine. Yeah, this is pretty insane. This is it's I guess a series of films collabing with another series. It's just going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see everyone.
I mean,
everyone come
with
back.
Stuff like that, you can kind of picture where it's going, but
I have no idea where this is going.
Just like I feel like the more cast members get added, it's you sort of like you can't imagine it at all. I mean, this is
nuts.
I mean, I don't remember a lot from the second Spider-Man film because I didn't really like it that much, but like they kind of set up the plot for the third one at the end of the
I
last
thought
one,
it was
but apparently not.
Evidently not. But yeah, I think it's really exciting news. I'm intrigued to see what they do with it. I'm happy for Daredevil to be kind of staying in. There was a petition that went around, I think, last week. Fans signed a thing to say how they want it. So the Netflix stuff, for those of you who don't know, a lot of it's going in the bin, which is a bit of a shame because some of it's really good. Some other stuff's crap, I won't lie. But I'm really happy to see Daredevil come back. There was the petition which wanted fans to have him return in the role, and I think that's the right choice. I must point out, Jimmy, I don't have that mug currently around me. I did make myself a cup of tea, but that mug's in the wash in the dishwasher, so I wasn't able to use it.
Josh, just to fill you in.
Yeah, Jimmy's plugging the show on every item we have.
Gabe bought me and 2 other people who.
I bought the hosts. Yeah, I bought the hosts a mug.
Mugs that has like our logo on it. I don't know if you can see that, but.
It's just so when we do this, I'm not promoting someone else. So that's Next up, we're gonna get hats and t-shirts to Jimmy's face, but he's not fond of that for some reason. We'll send you one out, Josh. Next up, right, there's the last thing that has not been a whole lot this week. Last week we had a load of news to cover. There's not been a whole lot this week, but Wonder Woman 2, what is it? It's 19 something or other.
1984.
84.
I'll look it up. I'll do some research.
All right, go for it.
1984, that's...
Point is, 1984, there you go. It's had its screenings, its test screenings out, massively positive. People are really loving this film. It looks like it's going to do really well. I think it's out on the 25th, I believe.
Does it have anything to do with George Orwell's 1984? Because that would be...
I don't think so. No, I think that's a different thing entirely. But that'd be an interesting concept. We'll get onto the main topic of the show. Today we're talking sports movies, shows, and just anything sports, really. Josh, you're a big basketball fan.
Huge basketball fan. Let me just start this off by saying I'm hugely excited for Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, fantastic.
I love the first one.
To say. The first one's really good, yeah.
Really funny, refreshingly funny, I thought.
Something new.
Chris, which
Pine.
Chris is it? Pine is really funny in it. So
Yeah, fantastic.
Can't wait for 1980 and 1984. Yeah, big basketball fan, big football fan.
Good. I'm going to assume what teams? I'm going to do teams every step of the way with this.
Okay.
But go on. So far away.
So for basketball, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. And for football, as in association football,
yeah.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay, all right. No, I can live with both of them. That's fine.
Two historically successful teams that
massively
every fan base really loves.
And everyone knows. They're two very famous worldwide teams. So I see what that is. Yeah, so Jimmy, you're not so much a football fan. You're a little bit of a basketball fan. You like it. You enjoy it. You indulge in it.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to choose one I like more, it would be basketball because I feel like football can be too slow sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do really enjoy football. Like, I feel like I enjoy football more when it's kind of a community thing. When you get people around and basketball. I mean, I'm not.
I was going to ask you teams, but you're not really.
Well, I mean, my dad's a big Rockets fan, Houston Rockets, and I like it as well because my dad supports it, and also, I know. It's like, it's one of those like I just support it because my family does, and not really.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go too sports off to fire away straight away, but it looks like the Rockets could be having a pretty shitty off season at the moment if things don't go their way. Harden is not in a good. The Beard is not in a happy place in Houston, and obviously Russ has got the hell out of there. I myself, I kind of see. So I only really picked a team this previous playoffs because I started watching, so I've always liked it, always loved basketball, always quite enjoyed it, and never watched a lot of it. And then when the Celtics played the Heat in the conference finals this year, that's right? I believe that's right. Yeah. I watched game 1 and was like, all right, I like the Heat. Jimmy Butler's always been one of my favorite players in the league, and I was like, all right, I like the look of the Heat. And then obviously with the kind of fairy tale way for them, it went obviously, sadly, they run into the best player in the game currently to just really hammer it home. But I kind of just have decided Heat is probably the team I'm going to ride with. And football-wise, I'm a West Ham fan. So very happy at the moment, but I've lived a life of disappointment, I'll tell you that. It's not been fun.
I should have said my football team, Arsenal.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Which is usually the reaction I get from most people.
Yeah. It's just like, fun. Anyway, right. So we're going to get into the first part of the topic, I suppose. So I want to talk a little bit about personal film favourites. So personal sport favourites. Personal sport film favourites. That works. Whether TV show, film. I do have here written down, and I was told to exclusively mention from our other host Daniel, who sadly can't be here today. I am being told to mention Rush and Ford versus Ferrari as two fantastic sports films, and they're brilliant. I don't know if you've seen either of them. They're good. I enjoyed them.
I've seen them both.
What do you think?
I liked Rush for some fun. I didn't really like Ford versus Ferrari. Really good performances.
It was a long film.
Not a big motorsport guy. The only motorsport film I like is Senna.
Oh my God! How did I forget Senna?
That's interesting to up because I haven't seen a whole lot of sports films, but I was actually going to ask you, Josh, if you'd recommend that because I've been watching lots of the documentaries recently.
Yeah,
and I've heard it's one of the best. So yeah.
Well, he's the same guy who did the Maradona thing that's been getting a lot of.
Have you seen that, by the way? Sorry, have you seen that?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Right, because after he obviously passed recently, I thought I should probably make an effort to see this movie. I just haven't got around to it. But all right, then I'll take your word for it on there then. So, Josh, we'll start with you. Guest always goes first. Any favourites you want to get off the list? Go for it. Fire away.
So, sports films specifically. Yes. Okay, so I thought about this, and I thought about a wide variety for kind of different genres, and I guess not genres because sports film I guess in itself is a genre, but different moods. Probably my optimum one would be Moneyball, which is
perfection. And even if you don't like baseball, I think I've said this before on the podcast, this was my recently watching I think a few weeks back, but if you don't like baseball it doesn't matter. It's just a beautiful movie.
It's a film about gaining professional advantage and business.
And it is also the way the league is run now, isn't it? It's all done through that system. So there you go. That's a great
idea. I watched Moneyball too.
Oh yeah.
For this episode because
what do you think?
Like there wasn't really a whole lot. I thought it was interesting. I mean, a lot of the stuff went over my head because I feel like the reason I get isolated from sport a lot is because of the kind of business side.
Fair enough.
We talk about that quite a bit, and I don't really get that. But I found it interesting to kind of like see it from that perspective. I mean, you had like some bits that were kind of like that kind of classic sports film where they they win it all kind of thing. But I mean, obviously they don't because it's not. Yeah, you know.
It's not a fairy tale ending.
But yeah, it's a fairy tale. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like really interesting because it's kind of it's more about the like the managers and stuff.
I must just say
just as
well,
interesting as some.
I was going to say, we must mention as well the performances are incredible. Jonah Hill, especially for me, I think sticks out. Don't get me wrong, Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt. I mean, come on, like there's no, I can't think of a bad performance, but Jonah Hill especially is amazing in that film. Like he is truly brilliant, and it's a. I'm glad you mentioned that because I genuinely would have forgotten, but that's one of like my favourite sports films. So I'm glad you brought that up because that is fantastic. Any others?
Yeah, I really love Friday Night Lights.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Movie. I really love the TV show, but the obviously the movie precedes it.
Yeah.
White Men Can't Jump naturally is one of my favourites.
Brilliant. Yeah. You wouldn't want to see Woody Harrelson? It is Woody Harrelson, isn't it?
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I was going to say, I said it and then was like, I really hope I've not just said the wrong name.
Do you think it was Woody Allen?
For a minute nearly did say Woody Allen, and then I was like, I don't think so. But all right, good. I'm glad I went with the right one.
Where pass me the ball. You know? And then
very different movie.
He Got Game is probably another one.
Yeah, that's a good film.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Then I went with a classic in Rocky, of course.
Oh.
Rocky.
Have you got a favourite Rocky? Let's do this. Come on, let's do this. This is always a good conversation to have. Have you got a favourite Rocky?
Yeah. So Rocky 2 is Ivan Drago, isn't it?
4.
4, yeah, that's 4, I think.
2's Creed the second time.
Oh yeah, sorry.
4. I love 4. Yeah, 4 is. I think 4 is like it's wonderfully like when you watch it, it's so of the time. It's like, but it's so well done of the time that it's just fun. No matter when it's just brilliant. It's amazing.
Have you guys recently watched Queen's Gambit?
I haven't.
No, that's on my list though.
I haven't. All I've heard for like the last month is watch Queen's Gambit and watch Schitt's Creek, the new comedy series on Netflix.
Schitt's Creek is incredible.
All I've heard for like a month now, and I'm just awful. I'm just terrible at getting around to shit.
Yeah. Personally, I'm loving this kind of revisionist Schitt's Creek thing because that was under the radar for ages, and
it won like a shit ton of Emmys, didn't it? Cleaned out the Emmys, and then everyone kind of flew to it.
The reason I mentioned Queen's Gambit is because when you watch it, think of the Rocky IV parallels throughout. It's just basically, it's basically a chess version of Rocky IV, but with like amazing friendships and stuff.
I mean, I think my favorite, like as much as I do like Rocky IV, I think like Rocky 1's always going to be kind of. I think people mention Rocky IV because it's like, of course, Rocky 1's going to be the best.
It's the most favourite. Yeah, number 4 is often the favourite. I think number 1's the best movie, but number 4 is the favourite. Yeah.
I watched it like at that age where like I say at that age like I'm really old. I'm really not, but like I watched it maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and like that was when I was really just getting into film, and I just thought it was like, I felt like it wouldn't have been as good as if he'd won in the end, because like when you rewatch it's not really about that.
There's
like
something I hate whenever we do this. We have a stupid conversation. Thank you. Whenever we do this, we have a stupid conversation about like whenever I end up sounding like a film. We always say don't sound like a film student, and that's all I ever do is end up sitting here sounding. But like it's like the perfect movie to watch and get from it how the writing works. Because if he wins, like you say, it's not as good a story. Nowhere near as good a story. But because he doesn't win, it's so wonderful. I'm going to start talking about fucking Robert Pattinson and whatever that movie is that he's in that in a second now.
I'm going back to the Queen's Gambit.
What's the movie, real quick? Jimmy,
is that his last one?
What's the Robert Pattinson movie that we always sit here and every time someone starts... No, wait, no. The one where it's him and his brother, and his brother goes to jail. It's got life or something in it. Good time. That's the one. Every time me and Jimmy sit here and someone it's like a fictional character we've made up. Like, don't be like the film nerd over there. He's like, he's seen Good Time.
We have like this kind of list of
don't mention these movies.
Film students go on
Fight
about
Club.
a lot.
Fight Club. Yeah, film students who are like, Have you seen Fight Club? It's amazing. It's great. You should watch it.
Pulp Fiction's obviously the classic one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
Hot take. I think that's one of the most overrated films ever, and I love it.
Fight Club.
No, Pulp Fiction.
I was going to say.
That. Yeah.
I always say the same thing. It's like I'll put 2 things in that category, which are Nirvana and Pulp Fiction,
okay.
and I love both of them.
I'm
both of them are
like,
incredible, but they are too highly rated to the point.
I'd put Queen in that bubble. Just saying, I'd put Queen in that bubble.
But, Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, that's interesting because I completely agree with you, because I think that a lot of the times if you say something's overrated, people immediately assume you don't like it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But that's not the case at all. Like,
Jimmy's had a lot of bad feedback for Jimmy's Star Wars opinions, and every fucking week we have to go over the fact that Jimmy doesn't hate Star Wars. He just doesn't like a lot of it. We always have to go over it.
From Gabe and Dan a lot, because I say that I think Marvel films and Star Wars is overrated and stuff, and that doesn't mean I don't like it. I just think there's a lot of other good stuff out there that people should pay attention to, and
basically the Martin Scorsese sentiment, really, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I actually would say on the topic I've gone complete. I don't give a fuck with sidetrack. We always do this every episode. It's why I love doing this. A massive on that note of Pulp Fiction being overrated. I don't think it's his best work.
No, I don't
even think it's close to his best work.
The thing about it is, I understand why it's so iconic. Is because for me,
it changed the game.
It packs, because of when it came, and because of the fact that it has all of the Tarantino-isms that kind of really sum up his style in one film. And I think for that reason, people are like, oh, okay, masterstroke. It is a masterstroke, but it's not even in probably my top 5 of his.
It's the Citizen Kane of Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Inglourious Basterds.
I was going to say, so Dan's favorite, I think it's Dan's favorite Tarantino film, and is Inglourious. This is completely off track, but it doesn't matter. I was just going to say, I personally think his best thing is... the thing I've watched and enjoyed the most is either Django or it's... Oh, fuck. What's this first ever film he did?
Reservoir Dogs.
It's them two for me, personally, because it's just... I just think it's incredible.
I'm like a huge Western fan, as Gabe knows, and the two Tarantino films I haven't seen are Django and The Hateful Eight.
Oh, Django's brilliant. I don't know about The Hateful Eight.
Everyone goes on about
those. Hateful Eight is difficult, man. I get why people appreciate it, but I don't know whether I've just been conditioned into a complete snowflake, but I'm at the point where there's only so much
100%. Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, I found I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood the other night. I was going to talk about it on what we recently watching, but I don't know if either of you have seen that, but the final scene in that, I looked away and was like, I've seen, I get it. I get it. I get it. She's dead. I get it. Sick. I'm good. I don't need to. Yeah. I don't. Whatever. He makes film for himself, and he. Do
you think that's because he feels like he has to rely more on that kind of Tarantino shock factor, and that if he didn't have that in his films, it wouldn't feel like it wouldn't be a Tarantino film? Or do you think that he just does that because he thinks that that's the right way to end something, I guess?
I think it is. A lot of it seems tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? Everything is really meta with Tarantino, where he's misdirecting people on purpose because he thinks, he's so deep into the world of film and his inspirations that he thinks, oh, well, this person did this, this, and this. And then it ends up to the point where he has no normal way to end it. Yeah. So he just goes, okay, well, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing because it's as entertaining as it gets.
Exactly.
Yeah. I actually think he's got better as time's gone on, and obviously that's the case because everyone does as they develop. But I think for that reason, it's that's I think why I went with the Pulp Fiction's overrated.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
I think it's amazing, but I think the stuff he's done in the last
it's better. Yeah.
Well, I think that I watched Reservoir Dogs after I'd seen a couple of Tarantino films. It was my first one I'd seen, and obviously all those endings are quite. They're not, I don't say similar, but they have a theme, right? I felt like Reservoir Dogs did it the best because while you saw it coming, it still felt...
powerful.
Yeah, it felt like it made sense in the context of the rest of the stuff. The story was more... It felt like a build-up to something. It's different to a lot of his other stuff.
I think Josh hit the nail right on the head, which is a lot of times he spends kind of all of his film trying to build suspense, and then he realizes when he gets to the end, maybe he does, maybe I'm chatting rubbish, but I think to a part he gets to the end and realizes that there's nothing here to build up to, and it's like, oh, I've hit 2 hours 30. Maybe I can't. I want to finish it here in this bit, but there's nothing to build up to. So I think it just.
I saw an interview with him once where he was talking about.
By the way, can I say he is absolutely insane. It will be my biggest thing if I become a film director, which I'm hoping to do. So I will be so proud of myself if I do it and I have success and I manage to stay somewhat sane throughout the process, because there's so many people that are completely fucked, and he is also one of them that he's kind of gone. Who's the guy I was thinking of the other day? Tom Cruise. Both of them completely insane. I imagine very nice people, completely insane. Like, there's no point that makes me look at you and go, you have everything. Like, everything works. I know Tom Cruise being
a nice person, but
Tom Cruise is nuts.
That's not what I'm sorry. This show.
Yeah, we'll have a whole episode of Tom Cruise.
But yeah, spoilers for Inglourious Basterds. But I saw like an interview where he was talking about it, and he was saying that the ending where they that plan to kill Hitler thing, and he was saying that he got to a point where he was like, oh, how am I going to end this? Like, he was writing really late at night, and he was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just kill Hitler. And it's like, that's interesting, like, to think that way. But, I mean, I haven't made a whole lot of stuff, but I come up with ideas all the time for things. Most of them, actually all of them, probably I'll never make. Like, I think of, like, you have to have that kind of whole vision in your head. And it's interesting that he kind of came up with that ending. I mean, he may have just, said it wrong and it came across wrong, but it's interesting to hear it from his perspective. Like, he came up with that like on the fly, and just sort of like, I just think that's interesting that maybe it didn't make a whole lot of sense into the rest of, like, maybe he fixed it in another draft or something, but I just think that's interesting,
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to hear how the masters think.
Yeah.
And also, Jimmy, you will get them made.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Thank you.
No, the amount of projects me and Jimmy have burned through, being like, we're loving this project, we're doing it. But then I think that's the beauty of it, is this is very film student-y. It's the 1 in a million projects. If you write 1 million scripts, it'll be the one lottery ticket that makes you go, that's the one that actually that's the one that I can use.
Throw enough shit at the wall.
Exactly. It will stick eventually. Let's get back on track. We're going to take a left back on track. Have you got any more, Josh? Any more favourites?
Yeah, dodgeball.
Go for it. Oh, yeah, all right. Well, Jimmy. I'm kidding. No, go for it. Go on. I was going to say explain yourself, but go on.
No, I was happy with the one word, dodgeball.
Okay, good. Jimmy, any favourites?
Sort of sums it up, yeah. Again, I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff. I mean, The Last Dance is my favourite mine. Again, I watched that with my dad, because he's a huge basketball fan. He's more of a basketball fan than I am. But we watched that this summer, and it was really nice, because this summer we just played basketball in the garden because we put a hoop up. And when we were done, we would watch an episode of The Last Dance, and it was just
it's funny. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I said that over the last few years, the only 3 shows over the last like 5 years, let's say, the only 3 shows I've been so excited to watch more of, and I've made such an effort. So Game of Thrones, when it was on, and it was the good seasons, I was on board. The minute it came out, I was watching. The Last Dance came out Monday morning, right? Monday morning for us, I think.
Yeah.
Every Monday morning I'd get up and I'd watch both episodes back to back immediately, like in bed, like before I go out. And then now it's The Mandalorian. So tomorrow morning when I get up, I'll watch The Mandalorian, and then I'll go to work or whatever. So for me, like, they're the 3 shows I've been like, this is so good that I have to have more of this.
Essential viewing.
Yeah. Oh my God, The Last Dance was brilliant, incredible.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah,
amazing. My show like that is Better Call Saul for me at the moment. I'm really looking forward to the last season.
Yeah.
I'm a big Breaking Bad fan, as I've mentioned on this podcast
numerous times. Yeah.
And I'm like, I also said on the podcast that I think Better Call Saul, I'm enjoying it at the moment more than I did when I first watched Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad's better, obviously, for like a ton of reasons that if we went on, we would take a whole podcast.
Yeah,
but,
we'd be here for a podcast. Yeah.
I think it's like, it's just different, and I think that's like interesting to kind of see it from like.
I think there's an interesting connection there in that. Didn't Vince Gilligan do Celtic Pride, the really bad basketball film?
I don't know.
Did he? Oh no. I'm confusing it with that Louis C.K. film Pootie Tang or whatever.
Oh.
Because he was involved in something mad early in his career, like long before he became...
There's a lot. If you look back at a lot of producers, especially, there's a lot of shit. He's
obviously
so
most
much
famous.
Good stuff, but
it's going to get most famous for the X-Files, obviously.
Of course.
Which is actually where I think he met Bryan Cranston on one episode. And,
I was going to say, I'm not going to start my X-Files discussion about how the show's got like 4 good episodes, but still. Jimmy, any other favourites?
Icarus. I don't know if you've seen that, Joe.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
The Netflix documentary.
It's been on my list for so long.
I haven't seen it. No.
It's the doping one, right?
Yeah, so it's about like obviously there was like that big doping scandal with Russia and stuff. And it to an extent it's a sport film, but it's interesting. At first it starts as a sport film. This guy is trying to do the Tour de France, and he's doing all like the drugs and stuff. I don't know a whole lot about it, but he's doing all like the stuff that athletes use.
He's doing the bad things people shouldn't be doing.
And it starts off with him just trying to kind of like see if he can win, see if he can perform differently. And he has this coach from Russia, incidentally, and
no one's saying anything.
No, of course not. No, but it sort of slowly develops into this kind of like it feels like a thriller. Honestly, like it's like
I remember you saying to me it takes a hard left turn, and you're kind of like, oh my God,
it gets to this point where it's like it kind of like 20 minutes in, around half an hour, like it kind of it sort of finishes. The first bit finishes. You're like, okay, how are they gonna continue this? And then like the coach from Russia starts to get investigated by the government, and you learn about him, and he has to go into like I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's really really interesting. I definitely recommend it. Okay. I mean it kind of being a sports film fan, it will hook you into those first 20 minutes, and then it's impossible to like turn it off. It's one of those films, and
I love it. Really it sounds like one of those ones that I was considering, like the so sometimes, like you said about Moneyball, some things like, is this a sports film? It's just like there's a line as to like what qualifies it. Feels like there needs to be a whole process to vet.
I mean, there's definitely a theme throughout of it's like about doping and stuff, but
because I was thinking like I, Tonya. I thought about I, Tonya. And Foxcatcher, both incredible films. But it feels almost
it feels like a drama.
Very.
It's in the same way that it's in the same way that Whiplash isn't about jazz drumming. Like it's about that
Whiplash
kind of.
Whiplash is basically a sports film.
Yeah, by the way,
I was going to mention
immaculate movie. Like very good movie, perfect movie.
I actually watched it with my parents the other day, and
I fucking love that film.
It's about a coach who pushes a guy to his physical limits. He has his downfall,
and mental and everything. Yeah, he pushes him. Yeah,
it's a sports film.
I mean, I've always said that I think Whiplash is definitely like top 3, if not like top 2. Like it's just
Miles Teller's incredible. That's a guy who's very underrated just because he was in an awful Fantastic Four movie. Amongst other things.
He's just also got that presence about him.
He fits that role perfectly. I mean, have you guys seen the short film that?
Yes, I saw. I remember watching. I watched the film, the major production first, and then see the short film. It was like,
I mean, obviously it's J.K. Simmons of both, but Miles Teller definitely fits that role better. I mean, like the guy in the short film, I don't know his name, but he's good. But
that poor bloke had his role, and he saw it in the starlight when they went, "We're going to do it as a major picture."
But like, if he was in the actual film, it wouldn't. Adds that kind of 100%
like. 100% agree. For sure. Josh, in a minute we'll jump into another call just so we can refresh the time.
I think okay, sure. I think Miles Teller was also linked to do La La Land. I think.
Yeah, I did see that.
It was going to be La La Land, then Emma Watson, which would have been a completely different movie.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Because for Damien Chazelle's next film. Emma Stone actually dropped out.
I was going to say, she dropped out, didn't she? I saw...
Emma Watson will get her spot now.
Yeah, and Miles Teller. I'm gonna throw a few favourites out real quick. I'm gonna do Last Dance. I have Coach Carter written down, which is a really good, really really good basketball film. First movie appearance of Channing Tatum. He's bold, but he's not. He's just shaven head. It looks weird. The guy who it's written about, I think there's a quote where he's like, it's 97.9% accurate, which is just bizarre, but sure. Great movie, really good ending again, and just a brilliant film.
I'll tell you what isn't accurate is the amount of, like, the drill.
Push-ups?
Is actually physically possible.
Yeah. 10,000 push-ups every single training.
They're done. They're done.
They're fucked. Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing. Last Chance You is a really interesting show on Netflix. I really enjoyed that. Great show. Really interesting in that. Makes me. I'm a big American football fan, but it always makes me want to go and actually play. Which I'm desperate to do, but fingers crossed university comes a calling.
I'm a really big fan of American football movies and TV shows.
Oh, fantastic.
I can't watch a whole
really? I'm massive. I got dragged in by a friend of mine who's he's a baseball fan majorly, but I got dragged in and then I was just hooked. Big Chiefs fan. We're gonna hopefully back-to-back running back. Let's do it. Patrick Mahomes for the MVP. This is my response to dodgeball, by the way. Kicking and screaming. Anyone seen it? Yep. Good movie. Will Ferrell, funny, very good comedy. Jimmy's looking at me like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Have you seen this, Jimmy?"
I haven't seen it. No.
It's amazing. Who's the guy who plays the dad? Excuse me, everyone, while I go get up IMDb. But it's Will Ferrell. It's early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah, and it's around his. Is it around old school time? I think it's around. I think
so.
Yeah.
It's
just before Elf.
No, wait. Oh, no, wait, that's wrong. I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, he literally, we had this conversation. I keep putting in.
Is Elf, have you guys watched that Movies That Made Us thing on Netflix?
I have. I watched that. Yeah, it was brilliant. I thought it was really, really interesting.
I haven't seen it, but my mum watched it, and then we watched Elf the other day because she'd seen it, and she was like,
"Yeah, I fucking love Elf. I quite happily had the conversation." It's Mike Ditka. That's who it is, and Robert Duvall. It's Kicking and Screaming is a good laugh. It's good. It's about Will Ferrell. His dad is the coach for a soccer team in America, a kids soccer team in America, and he keeps benching his own grandson or Will Ferrell's son. So Will Ferrell decides to go become a coach of another team, who are the worst team in the league, and to bring his son over there. And it's a very funny movie, and it's just very good. It's a nice film. I enjoyed it. I watched that a lot as a child. Also, it involves two Italian kids who are just incredible at football, and I'm part Italian, therefore growing up, I was like, this is great. I could be their kids. Like, this is wonderful. And then I joined Sunday League and had some guy kick the shit out of me and was like, no, not the same. Not the same.
This isn't like kicking and screaming?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I was there like, I don't understand. Nothing. Why am I on a rainy Sunday in the middle of March? What the fuck is this? What was I going to go? So we've now gone through some favourite sports films. I did want to shout really quickly here. Does anyone have, I'm going to limit it to one. Has anyone got a favourite sporting moment in general that maybe you'd either like to see captured on film or you just personally have a massive love for it? And Josh, I think I might have just a tiny idea of what you're going to go for, but go for it.
Interesting.
Are you going to go a certain thing that happened about, 3-4 months ago? Wait, was it 3-4 months ago? Yeah, we're in 12. Yeah.
Liverpool winning the league.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, there we go. Oh,
I mean, there could be okay, so I'd love to see,
go for it.
In the vein of Moneyball, I'd love to see Sam Hinkie's process in Philadelphia documented.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Burner account leaks, and there's just been so much drama in Philadelphia over the last 10 years. Yeah. But my general idea is that I'd like to send the Last Dance crew into like 3 or 4 different moments. So
for sure. That's a great show.
Dream Team, the 92 Dream Team, to like have a full all access document of that would be incredible, because it doesn't get any better than that.
No,
and
not
also this NBA bubble that happened.
Yes, I was going to say the bubble. I'm excited to see.
Documentary would be incredible.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's seen, I probably should mention, has anyone seen F1 Drive to Survive? That's a really interesting documentary series on Netflix, but they do a great job at really in depth on everyone, and it's that you're within the team for the time of the season. Well, I wanted that in the bubble, if you know what I mean. I wanted them to be like there the whole time, and I'd see how it is.
It's interesting that you bring that up, though, actually sending like a film crew into a sort of document. Do you think that maybe that's not being done so much anymore because we have like social media and stuff, and like everything's being filmed anyway?
Sure.
I mean, when was that? Was like 98 they were filming, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the same can be applied to so many things, isn't it? It's like journalism's taking a hit because of it. You know, like we're getting less brilliant long form journalism because everyone's a journalist.
Yeah,
you know, it's similar kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, you're not incorrect.
It's happening less because, you know, it renders it pointless when, you know, we've got it every day. We've got it as it's happening on the Instagram feeds. So
We also have such access to, everyone has access to footage like that. I mean, this is kind of unrelated, but I'm a big fan of the I'm really interested in like NASA and like the space race and stuff.
I was so dreading where you were going to go there. I was so waiting for you to be like, murder. There's not enough murder documentaries. And I'm like, are you really?
No, but I've been wanting to make like a documentary about like the Apollo program. Because I'm a nerd,
that's a good point.
That's the sort of...
Jimmy watched The Martian once and decided. No, I'm kidding. He didn't. I'm kidding. That's not how it is at all. Jimmy's a very big space fan.
But I was thinking about like how I would do it, and obviously I don't have access to interview people, and I was thinking, well, there's probably enough footage out there for me to just make a documentary out of the footage.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, I can't even imagine how those like poor astronauts, how many times they got interviewed and stuff. I mean, there's hours and hours of stuff out there. So I mean, it was interesting to like see something like The Last Dance, where it's like, because obviously that isn't the only footage, and you saw that in the actual documentary, that like, I mean, the best parts.
How much footage do you reckon those poor editors had to dig through? I'm just saying now, because like I film a thing that's 5 minutes and I get fed up looking for footage. Them poor editors, like you got to have like at least a room with like 70 editors to get that job done.
I heard them saying, how arduous it was, and that's why it took kind of.
Well, the story goes, doesn't it? When LeBron won the 3-1 comeback against Golden State, Jordan said, I want it done, which was kind of, in my opinion, is kind of him going, I want everyone to be reminded who's the man still. And then the minute that he said that, it was like, right, come on, everyone start combing through footage. We got to find more videos. Here we go. Yeah,
well, Steve Kerr said that he received a version of it like 10 years ago. And
watch
it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing that like that's something like, I mean, I find it, I mean, it's got like it's one of those like really, really rare occasions that all the best documentary like makers understand, is like that kind of like natural like arc, that sort of, I mean, that not to say that like it's necessarily a traditional story arc, because I mean the Bulls weren't at like the Bulls were always considered one of the best teams, but it's just I mean, that last episode I said to you, Gabe, is my favorite, because there's like so much writing on it, and you really feel that as well. And I mean, it's just like amazing how
I think
of all the ones they decided to film, the games they said. Like
they got lucky in the circumstances that arose from.
But you've got to get lucky. It's that thing of like,
and I mean, it makes me think that like how many documentaries have been filmed but never made, because it's just there's nothing there.
Me and Jimmy, when we had this conversation, I mentioned how my favorite moment I like the Dennis Rodman episode. I really enjoy that, because that is so. But how much behind the scenes footage do you reckon there is there that they went, we can't.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, because obviously a lot of people I speak to are like basketball obsessives, just naturally. So that's the episode that a lot of people that haven't watched basketball actually.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Gravitate to, and obviously it's because he's such an enigma.
It's such a massive.
And I was thinking today, I'd love to see the version of that episode about this James Harden thing.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, that'd be brilliant. Oh, it'd be amazing. It'd just be a shit show of people in tears and fighting. I was actually, because one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite, is when they're trying to sneak Dennis out of the stadium, or of the training center, sorry. And he's like, there's 400 photographers that way, and we've got one shot at this, and his car's out front, and he runs, and it's brilliant documentary. Like, when you stumble across that footage, you're probably like, this is fucking perfect.
Yeah, you can't believe it's real.
How is this not being used? Like, it's literally them running with him across the like training facility, and you've got like 100 photographers running against, and it's like, what the heck? It also makes you think that like, if you're Rodman in that scenario, that's terrifying. Yeah. That you've got 400 people there wanting to. No, and I either go through that or I have to run to my car. Like this isn't how the world should work. This is nuts. That being said, when Jimmy does try to attend any classes or anything outside of his own home, that is usually the reaction he gets as well. So we get it, we get it, Jimmy, we get it. I was going to mention some quick moments that I think are massively important in general throughout sport. I'm very biased to this, but the Chiefs winning it this year, first time in 50 years. My short documentary is out on that at the moment.
Oh yeah, of course. Just plug.
Here we go.
Let's see
But I
what
know
we
I'd
got.
like to see it done by people who there isn't a I think it's called America's Game. I think it's the documentary.
Yeah.
There is one of them out for it, but I think I'd like to see a more in-depth personal version of it. I think it was a really incredible story. I honestly, the rumor is, after the Michael Jordan one did so well, a Tom Brady one's in the works with the same people, and I think that's an incredible story to be told. It's also a very different story to Michael, because Michael's story, he was still pick number 3. He's not like he fell all the way down. Brady is the second. Brady's the second to last. He's the second to last pick in the whole draft, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that, I guess. But
that's why people watch sport, though, isn't it? Because there's like stories.
And
but it's also
it is a nice underdog story, but also the problem there is that he's a considerably less entertaining personality.
Massively, and Bill Belichick is one of the most boring coaches in comparison to Phil Jackson I've ever seen. Genius, but fuck me. Other than his Subway adverts where he doesn't wear sleeves, because I think that's the point of them. I don't really remember it. They always show every 30 seconds on American sports.
I have a personal
go on
sport moment. I think that the last World Cup, like England,
that's a good shout.
I mean, this is kind of someone who isn't really a huge sports fan, but I always watch the World Cup because it's just everyone watches the World Cup, right?
The country goes mad for it.
It was like the first time when you kind of I don't know, it just felt like the country was kind of unified.
Everyone loved each other. It was there was peace throughout the land.
I think it was interesting because, especially because, we didn't win it. Just in case you guys didn't know, we didn't actually win it.
If anyone doesn't realize, we didn't win it, but that wasn't the point.
I mean, everyone was I don't know if everyone expected, but I was like, well, people are gonna get really angry at this, but no one did. Everyone was really respectful about it. They were
there was a couple of reasons. Is that they were no one really expected anything from.
No, it came out of nowhere.
But also, you just made me feel incredibly old because you said it's the first time that's happened.
Italia 90?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not that old. But
I was going to say that's the last time.
I remember '98, and that was people beeping in the street and waving the flags and stuff. And then 2002, I remember that. Then there's been a bit of a kind of
disappointment.
Because they were such a big, high-profile team, people were like, actually, they're just disappointing us every time.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
And then the previous, when we got knocked out by Iceland, happened to fall on the date of Brexit. So even I was like, well, fuck this little island that we're on. And now,
it was not a good day for anyone in this country. It was not fun.
And then, but yeah, you're right. And then it really did feel like everyone came together for that.
Yeah,
and
everyone kind of respected all the players and stuff. I think that was it felt
remember,
it was everyone knew the team's faces. It was recognizable.
I've said, Jimmy, me and you've had the conversation before, haven't I? That's the best summer of my life, and probably the best 2 months of my life.
It just happened that summer. So many good things happened.
30+ degrees every day, and England were winning. I couldn't have been happier. I was in heaven.
It felt like.
I'm pretty sure I was drunk for about 9 weeks straight during that World Cup run. But then when I hit sober, I didn't care. It was worth it. It was fine.
For me, it was the first time I'd properly kind of experienced that excitement for football. I'd always kind of got that sense because my family are big football fans, and I understood what it was, what that feeling was, but I never kind of felt it because it was just it was a summer, so it was really nice. Everyone was out. Every single game, we would either go around someone's or someone would come around ours, and we're just
awesome.
I know it was just a really. I know it's just a really.
We love an excuse to drink.
Novel idea. People coming around each other's houses.
I know. I fucking miss doing that.
Hey Jimmy, I'm really happy for you that you experienced that because that honestly.
That's what it's about.
I kind of got that sense a little bit this year with the FA Cup because obviously it was Arsenal and my dad was excited about that, and obviously I've had that a few times before.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but now you shit.
I didn't want to in the FA Cup because I was thinking maybe they should have put a documentary team into the 2006 FA Cup. When Steven Gerrard destroyed West Ham United.
Is that the first what's it called, incarnation of Gerard as the Scream. Is that where that game's from?
No.
Or is that from?
So Gerard was so that one that you're thinking of was the year before when they won the Champions League.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
When
he bottom corner, bottom left,
bottom right,
bottom right,
on the edge of the box, and then Andy Gray.
Gerard. Yeah.
But then the year after, he scored two screamers.
Well, didn't we go 1-0 up?
He went 2-0 up.
2-0 up,
2-0 up.
West Ham, we love a throwaway game. We really do, but it's fine.
But
Gerard,
we're playing well at the moment. At his absolute peak, so I wouldn't mind watching that.
Can I just say, by the way, I have a lot of respect for Gerard. Frank Lampard's my favourite player of all time because I don't think I've ever watched a player and got as much enjoyment out of watching a player from my own country who I could emulate as a kid. So for me, that's the player I've always looked up to and been like, wow. But Gerard is such a good player, was such a good player. But my God, that whole generation, the most boring personalities I have ever seen in men, ever. I've never, I'd love to I'm sure if you have a beer with him and chat with him, he'd be not, lovely and you'd get some great stories and whatnot. But my God, man, do an interview where you at least smile. Come on, Stephen, help me out here. I look at it, I'm like, oh, man, Jesus.
At least he wasn't John Terry.
Yes.
So we can move on.
At least the world isn't John Terry. Yeah. That's one of the reasons also that I love American sports so much. Is the characters are so much more. It's just so much more. It's the show, isn't it? It's I guess it's why people love wrestling. It's the show. It's the atmosphere of okay, you've got a real villain and a hero, and right now, people like James Harden at the moment are looking like one of them, and it's amazing to witness. I was told by Jimmy to subtly move it along to this, but I'm just gonna fucking go for it. Let's do some music talk.
Okay.
So the other aspect of your show, Josh. I'm gonna go for both of you on this. What are your current listening habits? Is there a thing right now that you can't stop listening to? Because mine is everything late 90s hip hop. I keep finding new artists and just digging a hole. And I'm like, oh, great, this is brilliant.
I've got a Wu-Tang poster.
Oh, yes.
And a Big Lebowski and Mo Salah.
That one, they're both brilliant. Yeah, I like the Lebowski one especially. That's sick.
Would you class Big Lebowski as a sports film, though?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's fine, it works.
Yeah, that's my favourite sports film then.
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, so I've been listening to, that's always on my radar. But I would say most frequently at the moment, I've been listening to an electronic guy called Fred Again. And it's Fred Again and then 3 dots. And it's basically the guy finds figures of speech, that he's, I guess, recorded in the field or with people he knows and repeats it and absolutely beats it to death. But it's infectious and it's amazing. There's one amazing song where it's him speaking to his son about how much they love each other, and it's amazing. And then the singer of Big Thief, which is an indie band that I love, Adrienne Lenker, she released an album called Songs. And then Arlo Parks is a new British act, and she has been releasing incredible
Who were the
music.
guys you had on the last podcast? Sorry, I've forgotten the names.
The last one's a band called Duncan Fellow.
That's the one. Yeah, that was. I really enjoyed that one. That was an interesting podcast, I thought. Yeah, that was really, really interesting. Yeah, they were. I enjoyed that. It's nice hearing about different people's view on live music and such. And I enjoyed that. That was really, really interesting.
Well, that was lucky because we happened to fall into the every band they were saying was a band that
was the same. That's when it perfectly worked.
It felt like a bit of an echo chamber, to be honest.
That's lovely. Yeah, that's why I got Jimmy to do the show with me, because I know Jimmy and me don't do that. We're sat here and we just argue and everything. Jimmy, what are you listening to at the moment?
I'm gonna be really boring to say I like all sorts of music. Because
I hate you. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
It's hard. I mean, I'm the sort of person who listens to those. I'm quite a big indie fan. And when I say indie fan, I'm gonna sound like that kind of classic film cliche.
Yep.
Of I listen to a lot of bands that no one knows about. My favorite band, I think, at the moment and for the last 3 years or something now, I guess, is probably a band called Houses. I don't know if you've heard of them. But Gabe, you've heard one of their songs because I made that unreleased music video a year back now.
Yeah, I was gonna say they do Fast Talk.
Yeah. They have a song called Fast Talk, which was their
very good song.
First big.
Very good song.
They're not a huge band, but they just have a really unique sound. And I mean, I played that song to Gabe, and Gabe really liked it.
Yeah.
They released 2 singles this year, both of which were really, really good. I know. I just it's one of the things. I think it's that same feeling I get with a new season of a show, where because they don't release.
Do you dig a hole? Like I always find that new artists.
Yeah. I mean, they don't release a lot, but whenever they do release something, I'm really excited for the next thing they do because it's just they're so consistent with the sound, which is like their big kind of thing, which I really like. And yeah, I just really like them. I mean, I'm a big fan of like bands that have a kind of consistent sound. I mean, one band that I listen to a lot, which isn't necessarily one of like it's more of like kind of a guilty pleasure one, I guess. It's not what I listen to constantly. It's a band called The Go Team. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's the Go exclamation mark. You've heard of them, Josh?
Yeah.
They're really
funnily
good.
Funnily enough, I think they're coming onto the podcast.
Are they really? Wow. That's
working on it. I think.
I was gonna say, Josh is big time. By the way, we get everyone else. We get all our mates on. Josh.
Well, I love the Go Team. I've been a fan of them for ages, and I just their sounds just like it's so unique, and it just feels like really kind of summery, really. And it feels I think it feels like a really really good school orchestra. Who are just using the kind of instruments they have in like the music room, but like they're doing it really, really well, and it's really interesting. Like, it's like I know I've been like a huge fan of them, probably longer than I have for houses, but those are the 2 that come to mind.
I was gonna say 90s hip hop is where I'm currently living. And the same as both of you, I'm sure are, which is I listen to anything. It goes from Sinatra to hip hop. It really does, and it goes to rock. I'm all over the place. But
I say in the podcast a lot that. And I think because I said this, I accidentally basically called one of my guests a wanker, but like then backtracked. But I basically said that it's like a rite of passage to go like you're a kid, you're open to anything, and then you get to that teenage phase and you get more restrictive with your tastes.
Yeah.
And then you kind of grow out of that and start to think, why was I being such a knobhead? There's so much good in every genre. So I used to actually dislike the phrase, I like all music. Because I used to see it as a term of people basically saying they don't like music.
Yeah.
Like that, because it's like, I don't really care about music. But then I think now I get to the point where I fully understand that. Whereas, like, you can be a passionate music fan and be.
I think the best example. I worked in a place previously where we had live music every weekend, and my dad's a musician. I had that around me, and I've kind of always grown up with live music, and it's been a massive part. This sounds like we're on Josh's podcast. It's been a massive part of my life growing up in general. But working next to musicians when they're doing their thing and I'm working on my thing was incredible because, like you say, I don't have a fucking choice who comes on. It could be anything. We had like blues, which, by the way, not a massive blues fan. Blues to rock to rap to hit, and it just because I can't run away from it because I'm working. You kind of go, oh, I appreciate everything here. Like this is all good. It's not that might not be my thing, but it's all good. I get it. I get why. Yeah, I was gonna say my current artist. Like I have found Mos Def's. Oh fuck, I can't remember the name of the album. Mos Def's album. It's got Mathematics and I can't remember the other song on it. That's his two of his biggest songs. That's really good. I'm really enjoying listening to that at the moment. I listened to his one that's I listened to his one that's in Blade 2, Eye Against Eye. Incredible soundtrack moment and a great film. So there you go. That's what I'm currently listening to.
Just if we're also plugging kind of lesser known bands,
go for it.
Head to Spotify and listen to Chief Springs.
Chief Springs, as in like Chief, as in like.
It's my band. It's a shameless tweet.
No, well, I've got literally a segment written at the end of my plan that just says Josh plugs whatever he wants. So there you go.
Yeah.
You can fire away
here we
there.
go. I'm doing it.
Here we go. Go for it.
There's a song called Tupelo on there, and there's a couple more worth a listen.
Good. Everyone should do that. I'm not sarcastically. It looks like I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, you people should do that. What was I going to go on? You know what? Let's go to recently watching. Let's do that. Let's head to the recently watching segment. Everyone pick a thing that you've recently been watching. Josh, go for it. You kick it off. You're more prepared for this than any of the rest of us are, so go for it.
So we're talking movies or TV
Anything.
shows?
Whatever you've been watching you think other people should go watch.
Oh, that people should go watch. Jeez. God, I've been watching a lot of shit recently.
Wait, on purpose? Or you've been watching it just being like, oh, fucking hell?
No, I sometimes like to watch like bad stuff.
That's not just you. That's a lot of people.
I recently watched the new Chucky film.
Oh!
Yeah, which was
right.
With Aubrey Plaza, and it was really.
Oh, really?
Rough. To be honest, I only watched half of it. I jumped in halfway through.
Right.
I watched the TV show Brave New World, based on Aldous Huxley's novel.
That's the one that keeps getting fucking advertised on Sky, isn't it? I know because I watch American sports, and Sky cut it to their adverts, and it's fucking annoying. They've got like 10 adverts, and it shows them every time.
Yeah.
It's got what's his name from what's the star of that? Sorry, he's from Solo.
Yeah.
Alden Ehrenreich. Eric Wright. Whatever.
I can't really remember.
Yeah, no, he's in it.
I've watched a lot of good stuff recently. When your mind goes blank because I haven't written anything down.
All right, go on. Fire away.
Queen's Gambit.
Fuck. Don't say Schitt's Creek. Everyone else has said Schitt's Creek. I guess it's good. I don't know. It clearly is quite good.
What did I?
It's fine. Do you want me to go to Jimmy and then I can come back to you?
Borat? Yeah, go back to me.
Oh, all right. Borat is brilliant. We've had this. I think it's on like episode 1 or 2. We were like, everyone should watch Borat, but yeah, people should watch Borat. Jimmy, what you got for us? Come on, give me a thing. If you now say I don't have a thing, I'm going to kick you from this call.
Every single week.
Every
single week, I have something. I just choose not to tell you because you start off.
Go on.
I've been watching a documentary by J.J. Abrams, who is someone who I'm not necessarily a fan of his work, but it's interesting. Challenger: The Final Flight. It's about the Challenger launch, which is the famous one where it had the teacher on board, and obviously we don't know how that turned out, but it's interesting because I've only seen the first episode because there's 4 episodes. They're about 40-50 minutes long. And I'm hooked. I need to watch the rest. But so far, it's been really good. I also rewatched Knives Out last night.
Oh, man.
Which
Incredible.
is...
I rewatched that recently as well.
Yeah, same. I watched it a few years ago. Incredible. Great movie.
I think I watched it... I must have watched it around, like, February. And I hadn't watched it since. And I was
good.
I've been in that kind of, like, phase that I get into sometimes where I have a huge list of films and I've just been through this kind of like binge of.
Do you do what I do? You just go watch when you've watched before.
Well, no, because I go through binges of watching films that are on my list, and I really really enjoy it because I'm watching like a new film every night, and it's great. But I'm kind of falling back into that thing I always do where I'm just like.
Safety blanket time. Safety blanket time.
I have like.
How did you find it the second time? Because
I honestly found it.
Obviously, the plot is
the twist isn't there.
It's different watching it.
I think mystery is probably my favorite genre. And I it's such like a good example of like how to do it right. And I mean, I always like rewatching it twice. Usually, I mean, a lot of people rewatch it twice, quite close to each other. But I find it a lot nicer to actually watch it, months apart because then you kind of take it in a bit more. I thought it was like. Definitely more enjoyable. The first 2 acts was more enjoyable the first time because you have that kind of build up and you're like really focusing on it because you're trying to get in all that information because like this is going to be important later on. But I found actually the third act, or at least that last kind of reveal, a lot more enjoyable the second time, which is saying something because I really really enjoyed it the first time.
Do you think it's because it's a lot of the kind of that's genius, Because you know the eventual.
I want to give a shout out to Chris Evans' eat shit scene. Just want to throw that out there. One of the best scenes I've ever seen in cinema. Just utterly brilliant. Just
amazing cast. Tony Collette.
Oh, incredible!
Tony Collette always seems to me. I always say that Tony Collette is one of the like 5 or 6 people in Hollywood where like you watch it and for the most part it's going to be a good film if you see a film.
Yeah, I was going to say That's pretty much it. The nail on the head. It is an incredible cast. When you look at the list of people in that movie, it's brilliant. Like it's fantastic.
I think you're right. Just like the second time round, things fit together a lot more. I mean, it's like
you don't have to focus on the unraveling the mystery. You can focus on what the actual aspects of it are.
You rewatch So I mean, the first time around, the big reveal is kind of like you take in the most important information, you come away with that, and you're like, oh, that was perfect, like that ending. And then, but like when you watch it the second time, you focus on maybe those smaller pieces of information, the things that really make it add up. Yeah. And I mean, I think not maybe this is the best necessarily the best example. One of the ones that like kind of made me think appreciate it a lot was like that line. That Chris Evans' character says where he was like driving through the night and he was like, oh, I have to like fend for myself now, and then you rewatch it, like you rewatch the ending, it's like when he's like, it's a lot darker when you think about it, because it's when he says he has to fend for himself, he's gonna like kill him, and it's like, oh man. But it was I love that film, and I think that's
it is definitely a lot darker on the rewatch, I must admit. It's a great movie though. I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's alright. I'll be honest. It's alright. I did feel like it did a lot of that Tarantino, like, this is the suspense. No, it's not. And then you get to the end of the film and you're like, what's going to happen? He's like, end. I was like, okay, alright. Brad Pitt is great in it, though. I really enjoyed Brad Pitt in that movie.
I really liked it on the rewatch. I remember when I first watched it, I'm going completely blank. You know, sometimes in like an Oscar race, you start to dislike a film because you like the competitor more. What else was in contention?
Parasite was up against it, and so was something else. But Parasite
is the reason I started to dislike in a weird,
Right, no, I get what you mean. Yeah,
it's like sports where I started.
Your favorite team, and then like another team you actually like, but you don't want to say that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I love. I when I rewatched it, I was like, okay, that's.
See, that's the thing. I think I need to rewatch it, but I'd say, unless you're happy to go into it knowing that, okay, it might just be a film of Tarantino, like it's just him. Like it's just what they've done is gone, take all control and just go for it. And so as long as you're happy to do that, then you'll enjoy it. If you want a little bit more, you might not.
Speaking of the Oscars, actually last year, I feel like last year was probably, I think Parasite was like the most deserving of the win. I think if you watch it, you kind of like, for sure, you understand that. It's one of those things that a lot of people got angry over, but I think the only reason they got angry over is because they didn't actually watch it, and you could tell because also, I think as soon as you watch it, you understand immediately. Like it's just it's
Trump's America, man.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's actually like it is a genuine problem. But kind of is coming around now in the world, and that was nice to see. It was
what I was going to say was
see something different. Someone else come win it.
How did you feel about the last Oscars? Because I think that it probably had the most like snubs out of any year like so far. I mean not necessarily with
I would say
winning, but I think even nominations. I
the last time I saw an Oscars. Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of films that didn't get on there.
Wasn't even like.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Jimmy. What was the one that you mentioned?
It was Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Those are the two.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's
those
a lot.
Two films
it's too political.
Great.
It's too political. There's too much there. Yeah, it's not. I personally feel like. I mean, I don't know. Everyone. I feel like it's not really a film award anymore in the way that it's not. What's the best art? It's who do these men or women want to win?
I really like Green Book, but
I thought
when you watch
it,
you can tell that it's a film made to win an Oscar. Like but, like,
damn right.
I wasn't a big fan. But
no, I completely understand that. Like,
Ali, though.
He's brilliant. He's fantastic, isn't he?
I think I rewatched it after.
I was going to say that's probably the last win of an Oscar that I remember being happy to see win one. When he won it,
what was competing against Green Book? So I think I'd probably the same thing happened for me then.
Brad Pitt.
It's not the year.
Did Pitt win it? Did Brad Pitt win it this year? Last year?
It was the one before last year, so it was.
Because he won it.
It's not the one
2017 because he won it when he was La La Land and not La La Land. What's it called? Moonlight. He won it for Moonlight. Mahershala Ali won his Oscar for Moonlight, and then afterwards.
Oh no, I thought La La Land won that one.
Oh yeah. No, the picture won it, but he won the individual one.
The one that I'm most seething about for like in recent years is I thought that If Beale Street Could Talk was by far the best film.
Oh yeah. I've just realised Daniel will kick me if I don't mention this. Dan hates. And I hate it as well. The fact that Suicide Squad can advertise themselves as an Oscar-winning film. Because they won it for makeup, and that doesn't fucking count when your film is dog shit.
Oh, wait, I've gone to 2018.
Go for it, go on.
Sorry, 2018 is for me, is actually weaker than I remembered. but A Star Is Born, Bohemian Rhapsody, Black Clansman. But Roma and Vice and The Favourite.
Oh, Vice is
good. Vice. Vice is great.
Incredible.
I was going to say, on that note, The Favourite... So my auntie, who I haven't mentioned before on the pod, I think she watches most of the episodes, is a wig mistress. She did The Favourite. So I'm not discriminating against hair and makeup awards, because if they won it, she would have won it. So I get it.
It's an incredible film, so well done to her.
It is, exactly. But, like, all credit to those awards, I get it. But if your film is shit like Suicide Squad, you shouldn't get the award. Like, it doesn't, like, yeah, this looked great, but it was pointless. So what's the point? Like, all right, great, you lost a lot of money.
They won the Oscar. They did one thing very, very well.
Yeah, there's a point.
I've got a friend who's in a Grammy Award-winning band because they won it for best packaging.
Oh, brilliant. No, yeah, but, like, I'd sell the fuck out of that. I would have that on everything.
I don't blame them at all.
Have you seen that
Grammy winner
poster,
in here?
Have you seen that poster for Legend where they do the Guardian review? It's
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of doing that, saying,
pretty much. I just realized I should probably mention that for Dan.
Can I really quickly, because we don't have long left.
Yes, I'll give you a minute of my time. Go for it.
Bring it back to sports movies real quick. I think Adam McKay, the director of Vice and The Big Short, is perfect if he were to direct a sports film. I think his style would fit so well.
It works really well.
And I think it's one of those things where, like, it could work with, you know, that kind of conventional sports thing where it's about, like, the team and then winning and stuff. But it could also work with the business side.
If it's a drama-based film, it works so well.
I think that if I could go back in time, I think Adam McKay should have directed Moneyball. I think that would be so perfect. Like,
oh man, I honestly think that Moneyball is so, like, flawless, but I completely agree with you because
you know the guy.
You know, if you were to put anyone in that film that didn't do it, I think that because he's that way of, like, brutally punching you in the gut with the truth.
Oh yeah.
And it's entertaining as well. Like,
he doesn't pull his punches. He doesn't pull his punches for no one.
You're more informed if you're entertained by something.
I thought of something that I actually watched, by the way.
Go for it.
It was good. I watched The Burbs. Have you ever watched The Burbs?
No, I haven't.
Tom Hanks film from it's not new. It's a Tom Hanks film from 1989, the year I was born.
No, fair enough. Okay, good. Yeah.
And it's an incredible story because it was filmed on the, I think, Warner Brothers lot when there was the 1989 writers' strike, which meant that there was only one other film in the entire lot. So all of the sound stages, there was only one other film. So it was a ghost town. But because it was a ghost town, Warner Brothers needed to make money, so they absolutely upped the studio tour rotation, which meant that despite the fact that they had all of the resources of the Warner Brothers lot, there was a tour going through their space every 10 minutes. So they were doing it in 10-minute chunks.
That's amazing.
And filming an entire movie in 10-minute chunks. But anyway,
that's nuts.
I watched it and it's really good. It's like a satire on suburban life.
All right, well, good. I'm putting that's the suggestion for this week. I was going to say really quickly before I wrap up the show, I watched Mank, the David Fincher film. I love Gary Oldman. I do find sometimes it's a bit too wordy, and a lot of his stuff is so. But I thought I'm going to hate this. It's 30s. It's black and white. I'm going to despise it. I loved it. I loved it through and through, and I've never sat through a 2.5-hour movie and thought, my God, don't end. Like it was brilliant. I loved it. It was a great story. Orson Welles has played really well, and I have a massive connection to him because he plays his voices in Transformers movie. We both spent too long on that.
I thought you were going to say he's your uncle then.
No, I
you're like great uncle.
I fucking wish.
Makeup for the favourite.
Yeah, he did makeup for the film Suicide Squad. That's why they won it. Right, I believe that's everything. Josh, thank you so much for coming on. You've been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you want to plug before you leave us?
No, because I've already done a heavy amount of that. I write about basketball at Double Clutch UK, but then, check out the Handstamp Podcast, primarily on YouTube now, and check out the
I was going to say, I enjoy the YouTube ones. It's like everyone else does. You know, you see the people, and it's a lot more interactive. But definitely check that out. I really enjoy your pods, personally. My camera's about to go, by the way, so I'm waiting on this. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Instant Ravioli Show. I've been your host, Kevin Moreno. With me is Jimmy Rogers. Jimmy, there you go. And Josh Coyne. Nice, lovely to have you on, Josh. Definitely do this again in the future. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.